Singer 533 Stylist. Look how beautiful it's writing in there. Yes, it's the infamous one with plastic gears, but please bear with me and watch this video. I usually put only one ad at the beginning of the video. Hopefully YouTube is not going to force me to put more ads. I think if you can find one that has the plastic gears in good condition, this is a great machine. It's the successor of 401, which took 2 needles, same as this one. It has plenty of features. Also, I think successor of the Rocketeer. It's not that heavy, actually. It feels slightly lighter than the 401. I think the case is some sort of alloy because it went underneath, but I don't get the magnet to stick on it. This one, it's lacking the extension table, which is actually very long. So if you have that table, it takes a lot, it gives you a lot of space. And also it has a great light, which absolutely like the light on this. It's gentle to your eyes and it really covers almost the entire surface. This is the only shadow, cone of shadow. Everything else is nice and bright. And you have a switch right there. Oh yes, how sweet is this? Let's just give it a run and I'll talk about it. I need to point out something. Videos forget for some reason. I don't know why. This is the pedal and this is the best Singer pedal, and I mean the best and perhaps one of the few good ones, because the button one on the 401, don't make me remember it. However, sometimes they get a problem with the bar inside. I have a video about that, but these are by far the most controllable and comfortable. I think the word comfortable was invented later years, because in the 70s, if you look at the Japanese sewing machine with those metal pedals, perhaps that word was not yet in the dictionary. So I'll try a middle length stitch. It's a straight stitch. Let's try the slowest or lowest speed. It's not really that low. And then I'm going to try the fastest one. Maybe when the pedal was newer, it would work better at the lower speed. It's not that good now. Let's try fast now, the maximum speed. I think it's fairly fast, and this is just the medium stitch. Let's go for the longer stitch, see what goes. Faster speed. Let me check if it's here. Yes, it's fine. I think this is pretty fast. Now, this machine is in good condition. The plastic gears I did lubricate, actually grease them, and they take only silicone grease with PTFE, nothing else, please, unless you want to have bad surprises. I'm not sure if I did mention on this video first, but there is a misunderstanding the way the bobbin case has to be threaded on this machine, and you will find people saying it breaks the thread, it keeps breaking the thread, stitches are not good. It's because the bobbin case, I have a video, go in the section of comments, I'll link that video there. The bobbin case has 2 notches on it. And if you look in the owner's manual, which hopefully I'm not going to forget to link you a link where to download the PDF for free as well, in the owner manual in the 70s, it says pass the thread into the notch. We are not really that good telepathically, so we don't know, is that the first notch first or the second notch that you need to pass the thread first. And if you pass the thread the wrong sequence, if you choose the wrong notch first, it's not going to be able to pull the thread from the bobbin, and it's going to break the thread all time. It's actually going to catch the thread. It's going to capture it, but it's not going to be able to put the thread without breaking it against the sharp edge of the bobbin. So is that the wrong way that many people, I believe, are going to try to thread the bobbin case. So be sure to watch that video. Let's continue with the test. So I try to get a very fine stitch here. I'll try first the larger fine stitch and see what happens. I'll show you in a moment obviously the results. So it's quite fine, and this is easy to turn as well. I will guess this is the minimum fine, but it still should be moving. Perhaps not. Let's try it maybe slightly higher. I don't want to break the thread during the video. So, not sure what's going on. Let's lift. I need to lift it up and just slightly lower it down to make sure the thread can be pulled from there. Yeah, I think the slowest stitch didn't really, the lowest, or actually the smallest stitch wasn't the best. Let's try to continue with a zigzag stitch. And this machine takes 2 needles, right? Right now I have just 1 needle. You have 3 pressure plates there. So let's move for I want to see the biggest zigzag that I get. I think it's going to be longest. And it says in the owner manual, this is the zigzag well. And it says when you switch, I'm not sure what's this for, hemming, I forgot, but it's in the owner manual. It says when you rotate this well to get it first on the straight stitch position. And this is the middle needle. Now I'm already on the zigzag, so I'm going just to go for the largest, widest zigzag. Now the owner's manual says when you use either zigzags, make sure you switch it like this. I'm not sure why, because the needle movement has enough space there. Perhaps there are presser foot with less wide hole, I don't know. I'm just going to get it at the middle now, and this flexi stays at 0. So this is my setting. I guess this will get me the widest zigzags. Let's see. We'll see the results in a moment. What maybe else? Let's try a fine zigzag. So that would be about the finest zigzag. Let's try it. And maybe get it even finer. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, well, I think I pretty much showed everything. I'll show in a moment the results. I want to point out that perhaps the reason for asking you to put the needle to the left here when you do any zigzag is when you use 2 needles, just my guess. Because if you put 2 needles, maybe one of them is going to come closer to the end of that hole, so you want to put it here. It doesn't mention in the manual it's for 2 needles, but I would just guess that. So just want to show you the bobbin winder, which I like, this kind of knob here. It works very nicely. You just put the bobbin there. This is the winder stopper when the bobbin is full, and also it does thread it up and down, so it's uniformly refilling, and you have to just get the thread past this little bump. You detach it from there, just go and get the bobbin. Notice the 2 threads, right? Because we can put 2 needles. Let's lift now the needle and see the actual result. Hopefully I still have enough light. Give me just a little moment. I should off the thread perhaps. It's better. Whoop, it went on the floor. this is the top of the fabric. I don't exactly remember. It's this line here, right on the white section. It's not that straight of a line. I don't remember exactly. Maybe this is the finest one. We'll see on the back side as well. I can tell you I have a white Japanese machine from the same era. It's much less complicated, a zigzag one, and that one puts really straight stitches, and it's not a fancy machine. I think the Japanese people got it really right, and they were actually doing stiff competition to Singer and maybe other North American and even European brands. And that's what got the companies like Singer perhaps to start using plastic gears, some plastic components. It has a plastic bobbin case holder, so it cuts the costs because you want to reduce the cost at some point, but I'll explain the rest of the machine as well. So again, I don't remember. This was a very fine stitch. Remember where it jumped at the finest. This is the zigzag. I'll try to hold it perpendicular. I'd say it's not as wide. This is my finger. Is not as wide as the 401. To me, the 401 has a wider zigzag, just from memories. It's even wider than this. So these are, remember, I didn't keep the fabric properly because I keep my phone in one hand, so that's perhaps why it goes a bit weird. So I would say that the finest zigzag is, again, to my taste. It's not that fine. I'm not sure if it could go lower than this, but I would say for the comparison maybe with other machines, it gets you acceptable results, not great, but this is how it goes. Let's look perhaps on the bottom. So bottom, it starts here. It's okay, tension is good. But it's not that straight. The stitches, that is. This is the fine one. It looks just like above, the above one. This really looks identical, just identical. Now, this machine, because of those plastic gears, I don't recommend it for heavy sewing. Vinyl, denim, or leather, thicker leather, I just would be cautious with those plastic gears. This unit here is in very good condition. The plastic gears are in good condition, but because of the age, it's better not to take a risk. I can just say that one of the things, because this is perhaps the biggest worry, one of the things that happened with those plastic gears is at some point the owner will just go underneath. You need to remove this cover, this one less important, but this cover exposes two pair of plastic gears. The owner will just put some grease underneath. That grease hardens or leaks in between 2 or 3 pairs of teeth. It just gets like a nugget. It's really hard, and when you try to spin the handwheel by hand, it feels a bit stuck, or sometimes people just power it up, try to run it. The moment the adjacent pair, corresponding pair of gears of teeth try to enter that blocked slot by grease, hardened grease, shatters the teeth, and also sometimes it cracks the wells, the gears. It cracks it on the side. If it's cracked, perhaps it's not that bad, but when the teeth are shattered, it all goes off alignment and it's over. And it's really difficult to replace those gears, although they are cheap on eBay. I want just to add more that there is 2 belts here, one for the motor, one from the transmission, top to bottom. Those belts appear to be in good condition. I expect them to last a lot, but I believe although the belt for the motor is relatively easy to remove, it's a cover with 2 screws, one top, one bottom, The other belt, I'm not sure how easy to access is. I made a video showing how to lubricate everything around, and I just want to say maybe more like emotional evaluation or review of the machine. First, I like this design, kind of industrial, but at the same time, you know, more like a personal unit. But it has an industrial feeling, and this surface here, I would say this is some sort of aluminum alloy. It's not perfect, 100% aluminum, because perhaps it has to be stronger, but it's about the same weight or perhaps lighter than the Singer 401. And this surface here is so nice. The paint is very strong. There is no way you are going to scratch this thing, and it just gives you a perfect smooth working surface. It looks, because it's metallic, it just looks professional. It looks sort of, you know, from the industry basically. Also, maybe the design overall doesn't have something specific. The only plastic parts are this plate here, and the top plate and the front plate. This is everything that's plastic on it. Everything, well, the body, everything is metal. I think it looks nice. It has those functions. These are, by the way, metal chromed. Yes, it's chrome there. It's quite impressive. This knob here, actually, mine was very difficult to rotate. I had to lift this cover and just wiggle it by hand, and even put some oil at the bottom, somewhere in the middle, underneath the well, just until I did wiggle it until it got easy to rotate, but it was almost stuck because perhaps they never used it. I didn't try reverse now, but just be careful with reverse. Don't run it at full speed and try reverse, because those gears don't like to run and then stop and go reverse. So just if you use reverse only at small speed, and perhaps just be careful with it, cautious. I just want to say that it's perhaps not the funniest design to look at, but it looks nice. The colors are nice. For once, it's no longer black. This light is beautiful and very well spread around. And what I like about the machine is the sound it makes. It makes some sort of a whirl hum, and it's just pleasant. Compared to the 401 to me, I'm sorry, maybe I'm going to hurt some feelings, but it's not intentional. The 401 must be one of the machines the most soulless that I had to use. Again, personal, very personal opinion, just my feeling. The 401 will just not feel anything to me, although it's interesting, the design, aesthetical speaking. This one, I like how it sounds. I like how it feels, works. It's kind of, it has some sort of a character. And that's one of the things I like in machines. Maybe it's not the same for everyone. So I do recommend it, as long as you can make sure those wells plastic are in good condition. And again, never try to spin it even by hand until you rotate those gears and clean one by one with a Q-tip or something like this, to make sure they are really clean before you test the machine with proper speed. And remember this problem here, you get these two notches. This is the big problem, I think, that everybody gets confused with. Basically, these are the first or the top notch, this is the lower notch, and the way we should thread this thing is, you get the thread, it goes there, and we pass the thread. I do have a video, but just for you, maybe, but look in the comment section better. We pass the thread by the side of the bobbin, and we pull first the thread at the bottom notch, then it's going to get inserted behind the pressure plate, spring plate, and it's going to exit at the top notch, if you want, first or top notch. This is where the thread exits. And want to say something, I think it's really important. See, I'm going to just grab the thread. Let's just grab the one from the bobbin. I also have a video showing how to remove the bobbin case. So if I take the thread from the bobbin, right, it exits there. Look what happens. It's so easy to rotate. Do this test. This is the perfect test. If the bobbin doesn't rotate when you pull on it gently, it's wrongly threaded here. It's threaded the wrong way. When it's threaded the wrong way, it's almost impossible to pull the thread, and the thread will just get caught by the edge of the bobbin when you will sew. But it may still work, but you will keep breaking the thread at points. So this is the whole confusion part here. And you notice, actually, I'll give you a last tip here. You notice how the thread, and just toss it, is not, I don't have the best light here, but perhaps, let me see if the camera will focus. In the thread goes, yeah, the bobbin being transparent, it's even more difficult. The thread appears to exit here at this notch and goes there to the hole. If you thread it the opposite way, guess what? It will still appear to exit at the same point. It will look exactly the same, except it's not going to work the same. So remember, pass the thread by the side of the bobbin, against the bobbin, until this notch. Then you pass the thread in between this metal piece and the spring plate piece, in between them, and it exits here and goes above the bobbin and underneath the plate, up, out, up through that hole once you capture the thread. But the thing is, when it exits like here, like this, the right way, the thread always sits on top of the bobbin, because when you put the thread first in this cut, actually the bottom notch has a cut that goes deep inside, so the thread stays in the middle of the bobbin. It doesn't touch the edge of the bobbin. It's hard to explain perhaps like this, but just watch my other video. It's very, very clear. So I think this sell for under $100 on eBay. I think it's a little bit high priced, but if they are in good condition, I think it's well worth.